So I started getting into coding and was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it my way. So I decided to make the world's healthiest desk setup. I borrowed a mini projector thinking it would be easier on the eyes, you know, far away reflected light as opposed to direct close-up blue light. And even though pricier one would have been better, I gave up on the idea super fast. The picture wasn't crisp, and when I turned the lights on, it only made it worse. My plan B was e-ink. Unlike most displays, e-ink doesn't emit light. Instead, it uses tiny capsules with positively and negatively charged pigment particles that are moved around by electrodes in the screen. It's what the Amazon Kindle uses. So I looked around to see what e-ink monitors were on the market. Anyway, chat was like, yo, buy this one. When the monitor arrived, my first impressions were really good, but I soon realized how fucked it was. But I guess I was wrong, and I just needed to adjust some settings. Having night shift turned on my computer made the whole screen look awful. It went from being one of the worst purchases I've ever made into being like one of the best purchases ever. So here's the e-ink display. You can see it's full color. You can even like watch videos on it. As you can see, there's some ghosting that happens, which means it leaves a little bit of the image that was before, but you can clear it with this button. There's like a text mode, which optimizes for contrast, and there's an image mode and a active mode, which is better for fast moving things, and then like a web mode. I use it a lot for just typing stuff, and it works great for that. It also charges the computer over here that it's hooked up to, which is amazing. There's also a ring light that I was using for filming with my camera, and I strapped it to the back behind the display to act as a backlight, which helps a lot to alleviate a lot of the eye strain that can happen when you're staring at a bright monitor. The whole setup is on this shelf that I used to have over by my bed, but it worked really well as a standing desk. You'll know from other videos that I've made that I'm quite the master of jank. So this is not diverging from that at all. Now at this point, after buying a really expensive e-ink display, you might be thinking I have an affinity for impulse buying or something, but that's really just not the case. You see, I've been watching this technology for like 6 years and I've been wanting a monitor like this the whole time. So no, this was not an impulse buy. I swear, I researched this hella and I tested out what it would be like using the treadmill at the gym. And honestly, this video by Ahnestly finally convinced me to go with the GoYouth Walkpad. The Walkpad has this fancy dandy handy little remote. It's pretty freaking cool. This is the slowest speed that it goes at, and then it gets pretty freaking fast. It has a step counter and it shows you the speed, shows how many calories you've burned, and the step counter is like super accurate. It's also a super light machine. The length of this one compared to a lot of other cheaper ones makes it really nice so that you don't freaking fall off of it when you get distracted. So I used to have a chair here. It doesn't really fit now that I have the Walkpad, and then I had a little bench that like perfectly fit. Then I transitioned to an even better method, which is actually just to use this Swiss ball. It's the perfect height for this treadmill to get me elevated right at the desk. I've got the monitor up here, and then when I'm done using it as a standing desk, I can bring my keyboard, and then I can use this binder and then set the keyboard right on my lap like that. Another thing I've been using, this 20-20-20 timer. Every 20 minutes of work, you take a break for 20 seconds and look at something 20 feet away from you to give your eyes a break, and yeah, for overall eye health over time. At some point along this journey, I read a blog post by Dr. Laura Conover about eye health and was saying like to eat goji berries. So by following the advice of Alex Hormozy, I decided to act on that and bought some. That is unique. I also started carrot maxing, but apparently carrots being good for your eyes is mostly a myth started in World War II from all this British propaganda saying it would help you with your night vision. Anyway, whilst snacking on carrots, I was also movement snacking. Push-ups and squats to start, and then during some longer breaks, I picked up the rope for some rope flow. Another thing I figured out in the past, which works really well with this setup, is my pull-up bar actually fits perfectly in this little closet desk space. So what ends up happening is when the timer goes off, I'll often just hop on the pull-up bar and do some pull-ups. For a little esoteric add-on, I've used this grounding bedroll, which I'll usually have on my bed, but I used it and hooked it up so that it's just right on the desk so my hands can be on it and grounding as I'm working. Grounding is one of those things that is supposed to help with lowering inflammation and overall chronic stress that can be attributed potentially also to being in interaction with electronics all day. Another thing I've got going to make my work environment really healthy is air purification and air quality. So I've got this spider plant over here that's supposed to help with air quality. Something a little more robust is this air purifier right here. And then often what I'll do is I'll just crack the window while I'm working, and that helps a lot.
You'll do what to the window?
So apparently in a lot of work environments, what can happen when the room gets really stuffy and there's not a lot of airflow, like from an open window or something, you can have massive cognitive decline in the work environment. So it helps a lot to make sure that you're not getting that buildup of CO2. There are a couple videos that really inspired me on that topic, which I will link below. So I've already talked about making the work environment healthier with air quality improvements, but another way I'm planning to make the environment healthier is to make it social by using remote co-working. Now, I've used this service Focus Blocks in the past, which I really liked it a lot, but now I'm looking for some cheaper options. So I've got a couple other options I'm considering. Last piece of the setup, wow, that's kind of the cherry on top, is the cold turkey blocking software that just completely locks me out of my computer at 7 p.m. So I don't feel tempted at all to get into create or consume mode. Makes it really easy to wind down for the night. I've wrestled and struggled a lot with this split between the vital life I want to live and the art that I want to create. But it feels like this gap is finally being bridged. After working hard to make the world's healthiest desk setup, in some small special way, feels like I've more fully arrived home. There's no place I'd rather be.